Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, welcome to Week in Nintendo. Every Saturday I like to go back through the past week's biggest headlines so you can get yourself all caught up on all things Nintendo. If you're new here and you like these weekly news rundowns, make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on everything happening with the channel. And with all that out of the way, let's go through this week's Nintendo news. On Monday, Japanese fashion brand Uniqlo launched a new line of Mario-inspired t-shirts in honor of Super Mario's 35th anniversary. The new line of Nintendo-inspired clothing comes on the heels of Nintendo's recent collaboration with Levi's, but I have to say I like this Uniqlo collection far more. The designs are just more creative and modern looking, something an adult could wear while still celebrating the iconic Mario. So if you'd like to check out this collection for yourself, head over to uniqlo.com. I'll leave a link in the description, and you might want to act fast here since the recent Nintendo Levi's items sold out almost immediately. On Tuesday, we learned that the critically acclaimed RPG Disco Elysium will be heading to Nintendo Switch, and apparently soon. On a recent episode of the Game On podcast, art director Alexander Rostov joked that the interview was actually interrupting his work on designing the user interface of the Switch port. Narrative lead Helen Hinpier commented further by saying the Switch port will be, quote, happening soon. I've had my eye on Disco Elysium for a while, and there's been rumblings of it coming to Switch for some time now, since it's obviously a game that the Switch can handle, and indie games perform exceptionally well on the platform. I was actually disappointed to see it not show up at the recent Indie World Showcase, so hearing all this is great news for Switch owners. Wednesday, coming from Gamatsu, we learned that Animal Crossing New Horizons has now sold over 3 million units in Japan since launch, selling over 400,000 copies this past week, and overtaking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's physical sales, which is absolutely nuts. But also not all that surprising since the game is a perfect distraction from everything that's happening right now and kind of serves as a virtual reminder of what our lives used to be like. I've seen friends hosting dinner parties or birthday parties with other friends that they can't physically be close to, so while things may be pretty rough right now, at least there's Animal Crossing. Thursday, Nintendo announced that more Nintendo Switch units would be on the way after weeks of stock shortages that have driven up the cost of the Switch by third-party sellers. So if you've only been seeing Nintendo Switches for sale online for $500+, it looks like if you can hold out for a little while longer, you'll be able to secure one at a much more reasonable price. The announcement came after we learned that over 200,000 people in Japan had entered a lottery for a chance to buy a Nintendo Switch and Ring Fit Adventure. So hopefully once everything goes back to normal, we see these stock shortages addressed. But I will say the stock shortages for Ring Fit Adventure have made me feel kind of guilty about not using my copy, so I think this is going to finally get me on the at-home fitness train. On Friday, we learned that Rhythm Heaven's producer Sunko is looking for fan wishes for a Nintendo Switch version of the game. The original game, which came to the DS in Japan in 2008 and 2009 in the States, was very well received by fans and critics alike, and I could certainly see a Nintendo Switch version of the acclaimed rhythm game being immensely popular. I'm going to close out this week's episode with the very strange story surrounding the latest entry in the Cooking Mama series, Cooking Mama Cookstar for the Nintendo Switch. Cooking Mama originally came to the DS in 2006, and it's a very family-friendly cooking simulation game series, and that's what makes the story surrounding its latest entry so strange. Cooking Mama Cookstar had a release date of March 31st, 2020, but it immediately disappeared from digital storefronts after its release, and rumors started circulating that the game may have been utilizing blockchain technology to covertly mine cryptocurrency through Switch owners' internet connection. Apparently, this was purely speculation after the game's publisher Planet Entertainment had incorrectly mentioned blockchain technology in recent press releases for investors, and those rumors have been sufficiently debunked. What seems to have happened here is that Planet Entertainment seems to be pushing the game out ahead of both the developers and the Cooking Mama IP holders' wishes. In an anonymous interview with one of the game's developers, the developer explained that the game is very poorly optimized and could potentially cause Switches to overheat or crash, or drain the battery very quickly. And those are the reasons that Office Create, Cooking Mama's IP holder, wanted more time spent working on the game. Against their wishes, Planet Entertainment moved forward with releasing the game anyway, but it looks like Office Create were able to get the game pulled from the Nintendo eShop. Supposedly, some physical copies of the game made it to brick-and-mortar retailers, and Planet Entertainment has even been selling copies directly from their own website. These copies apparently jumped up to $59.99 from the original $39.99, but now seem to be back to the original price. There have even been talks of Planet Entertainment suing Office Create for pulling marketing of the game, so this is going to be a really interesting one to watch unfold. It does seem like this might be one of those bizarre physical releases on the Switch, like some of the mislabeled or incorrectly colored Switch boxes that could cause the game to have a high resale value. But be warned, being able to sell this game at a high return is probably the most enjoyment you'll get out of it. Nintendo Life gave the game a 3 out of 10 in their recent review, citing shallow gameplay, poor motion controls, bad voice acting, and subpar graphics for their low score. So you'll have to let me know if any of you out there were able to pick up a physical copy of Cooking Mama Cookstar, and if you've noticed any of the strange performance issues yourself. What a strange story this one is. And that does it for this week's Nintendo news. Definitely a bit of a lean week, but this whole Cooking Mama thing definitely kept things interesting. And if you stuck around through all that and liked what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next week, have a great weekend, play some video games, keep up that battle of the backlog, and I'll see you next time.